Hey everyone. In this video I want to go over some common issues that students normally have when they're first learning Python and trying to get used to how to create print statements. Alright, so I got a text pad here, a text editor that I put a couple sentences in. And what I want to do is try to print these sentences out in Python. And some of these things are going to be variables like Bob and human age and a dog age, and we're going to show how we can sort of separate these things and print string literals and print variables all in the same line. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up idle. I've already got some variables created, so name, age, and dog age. And what we want to do is just go ahead and print these things out. So just like with our Zybook assignments, we're going to take it one step at a time. So let's start off with the basic hello world. So this is all that we want to print out. Then we just need to do a print statement and put that inside of quotes. Remember, we call this thing a string literal because we are literally typing out the string that we want to print. So if I save this and then run it, we'll see that we get the expected output of hello world. Now let's do one that's a little bit more difficult. So let's do this, hi, my name is Bob. Now we know that Bob, we want to have that come from the name variable over here. Okay, so we're not going to do a string literal for the name itself. Instead, we're going to copy the part that is the string literal. So all of this right here, hi, my name is, and I'm going to start a print, and inside the quotes I'll put my string literal, and then I'm going to use a comma to separate the string literal from the variable. So this variable, remember, is called name. So over here I want to just put name, and there's a few things I want for you to notice here. One is obviously that I'm separating these two things. Two is that there is a space. See if I can get it highlighted. This space right here in between the is and the name itself. And you'll notice that I did not put a space here inside the quotes. Okay, so I didn't, but when we print this out, let's see what it looks like. Notice that there is a space there. So anytime that we separate string literals and variables, or variables and variables, or literals and literals with a comma in between them in this print, it's going to throw an implicit space in there. Now, there are other ways to formulate up the string that actually gets sent to the print function. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Print, hi, my name is, close quote, plus name. So the plus operator is sometimes called the concatenation operator. And that's a big word that really just means that we're putting two things together. Okay? So we're putting this string variable name together with the string literal to create a new string. One that says, hi, my name is Bob. And you'll notice that I had to put that space inside the quotes here because when you use the concatenation operator, there is no implicit space that gets put in. Okay, so let's run this, and you'll see that those two statements are functionally equivalent. They give me the exact same output. So a common mistake people make is either putting a space in here or not putting a space in there. And if we look at that, we see that comes out wrong. Or is and Bob run together, and is Bob is not an actual name, so we don't want to do that. Okay, so we can do this either way. At the beginning of the book, I believe they like for you to do it this way because there are a few snags that can come up when we're using the concatenation operator. And we'll get into those snags, and more than likely you'll settle in on liking one method versus the other. But there are some times when we have to use this plus operator. So one of those times would be if we want to put some punctuation after a variable. So this basically looks like the line above it, right? So I should be able to copy this, paste it here, and I need to put a period on the end after the variable. So if I want to put a period there, again, I need to separate my variables and string literals. So I need to put in a comma and then the string literal for the period that I want to print. Now, can you think of anything that's going to look wrong here? Well, let's check it out. So if we run this, we get that implicit space right after Bob. And that's not intended. That's not something that we want. That's not valid English language. So this is one of the cases where we actually have to use the plus operator. So let's go back. Hi, my name is, and let's close that. Plus name, plus a period. Alright, so we're literally just building up this string here. We're saying take this part, take the contents of name, and then tack this period onto the end, and then print that out to the screen. Okay, so let's see the difference. Much better. So there's no space there now. And one thing that I guess I'll note here is that we can combine these techniques together. So what we have here is string literal, comma, variable. Let's say we want to just do a plus there, and we'll have the name plus a period. So that'll be Bob period, and that'll get put together with this string literal here, and now that'll look correct. And we can see that reflected right down here. No more space. Okay, so usually you probably won't do this, and I'm going to show you guys some other ways that we can create print statements that have variables in them later on this semester. Alright, so the last example, I want to show you one that contains two variables, right? So if I am 11 years old, then I'm 77 years old in dog years. Well, I've already got these variables that have 11 stored in it, and this should be 11 times 7, 77 for dog age. So let's put that together. Let's look at this, and let's parse out our string literals. So if I am, do a print, if I am, close quote. Then we have 11, so we'll do a comma, age, comma. Then we have years old, then I'm. And notice I'm not getting the space there because this comma is going to throw one in. So I can copy that. Paste that in. Oh Lord. Let's do an escape there. Okay. Comma. 77. Well, that's going to come from dog age. And then the rest of it. So we can just copy that. Paste that in and close our function. If we save that and run it, we make this a little bit bigger. Cool, so we get the if I am 11 years old, then I'm 77 years old in dog years. Now, one thing that students sometimes wonder is, why do we even care to use the variable names here? It would be a lot easier for me to do something like print, hi, my name is Bob, and just be done with it, right? Well, the reason being is we're using variables, so maybe instead of assigning these like I am here with a string literal, maybe we get it from input and we say, what is your name? And an age would probably be an integer, so what is your age? So if we do that, then we're prompted for it. I can say, all right, well, maybe my name is Charles, and maybe I'm 20 years old. And notice the one that I hard-coded with Bob in it still says Bob, of course, because that is exactly what it's going to print there. But the ones that are using the variable are using this other name that I put in. And also, when I put in a different age, it's doing the calculation because I did that based upon the age variable that was inputted. Alright, so one more thing I want to show. If you like this concatenation method, which I do tend to prefer this, there's just some catches, and I mentioned that earlier. Let me show you what one of those catches would be. So let me copy this line, and instead of separating out the different pieces with commas, let's just concatenate them. So if we concatenate them, we're going to need to put a space in there, and we'll concatenate here, and we'll put a space there. Same thing here. And one more. Okay. Let's drag this out a little. Cool. Save that, and let's try to run it. Okay, so it's coming through. What's my name? Say Charlene. What's my age? 10. Alright, so the first one printed out correctly. If I am 10 years old, then I'm 70 years old in dog years. That is this line right here, but the line below it didn't. We can see that it didn't because we get this trace back and it's showing us the line and what line number it happened on and what error occurred here. Well, it's saying that it can't convert an int object to a string implicitly. So implicitly means without being told. Without being told to explicitly do something. Can you do it just based upon knowing that you need to do it with those two things? Well, Python can't. So let me break that down a little bit further. So it's saying that I can't convert this integer age here to a string, and the reason that it would want to convert it to a string is because we're using this plus operator, the concatenation operator. It expects there to be a string on both sides. Well, I needed to do arithmetic, this multiplication with age, so I couldn't leave it as a string. I had to convert it to an integer. So that's where the error message is coming from. It's saying that it can't convert that int to a string. But we can explicitly ask it to convert that integer to a string by putting this in the string function. So the string function takes a value. Let's do it again over here. It takes a value or an object and it converts it into a string. And that's exactly what we want. We want to be able to give it these integers and say, turn these into strings for me so that you can do this concatenation. And if we run this, we should see some better results now. So let's say Charlene again and 10 years old. And now it's printing out correctly. It looks just like the other print statement before. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please reach out to me. If not, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.